We begin in Washington, where Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will meet with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senator Chuck Schumer, and Representative Kevin McCarthy. This is some breaking news we are just learning now. Now, earlier, Mitch McConnell said the U.S. officially has a president-elect.
As of this morning, our country has officially a president-elect and a vice president-elect. So today I want to congratulate President-elect Joe Biden. The president-elect is no stranger to the Senate. He's devoted himself to public service for many years.
Well, joining me now on the phone is Bloomberg Senate reporter Stephen Dennis. Stephen, I want to start with the breaking news that we're learning about this bipartisan group set to meet later today to discuss stimulus. Does it look like stimulus will happen by the end of the year?
I think it's getting much more likely. Speaker Pelosi is inviting Mitch McConnell and the other leaders to her office at 4 p.m. to discuss the year-end spending bills, including the stimulus package. And the Democrats seem to be coming around to the idea of punting on most of the state and local money they want, in addition to punting on the liability protections for businesses that the Republicans have been demanding since April. And, that does seem to be a way to get a bridge to next year for the new Biden administration. There is kind of a question here of what does Trump do? He's clearly not happy when Republicans say he lost the election, and now you have Mitch McConnell saying he lost the election. So we'll see if that has any potential impact on the stimulus and negotiations, but, Democrats and Republicans seem to be getting closer together. You had this bipartisan Senate group yesterday sort of agree on $740-some billion that punted on those big issues. And Dick Durbin, the number 2 Senate Democrat yesterday, said that there's no excuse for Pelosi and McConnell not to move that package, which includes hundreds of billions for small businesses and vaccines and all kinds of other aid, and but leaves some of the tougher issues that have sort of been stumbling blocks for months for another day.
So, Stephen, I want to make sure I understand this correctly. What you're saying is that even if potentially Republicans and Democrats do reach some sort of agreement when it comes to stimulus, if the president isn't happy with it for any reason, he could derail it, right?
I mean, I think that that's always a risk with Trump is even when he has negotiators negotiating for him, until he's actually signed it, the Capitol sort of holds its collective breath, and now you've got a potentially even more unstable situation where he is intent on staying in office and, tweeting out things about the election over and over again. And ultimately, you need his signature, or you need to override a veto, and that's hard to do. So I think that certainly a lot of folks in Congress would be hopeful that he wouldn't veto a package and that they can come to some kind of broader deal in the next 24 hours. It takes a deal happening either late tonight or tomorrow in order to have it pass both chambers by Friday, which is the deadline, to keep the government open. And senators and House members want to get out of town for the holidays and come back January 3rd with a new Congress. So there's a lot of motivation. Those Christmas jet fumes tend to make things move a lot faster in this what they hope is a final week.
Yeah, and I think for many Americans, it can't come soon enough as Americans continue to struggle and face deadlines at the end of the year for aid that has happened but will dry up. I want to talk about Mitch McConnell's words earlier today. Does this change the tone of the Republican Party, having Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell acknowledge finally that President-elect Biden is indeed president-elect?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be much, much harder for, if not impossible, for Trump's continuing sort of band of supporters to sort of pretend the election isn't over. The courts have rejected him and his cases over and over again. The Supreme Court dismissed the Texas case without even hearing it. And in order to dispute the electors in Congress, you would need both houses to reject the electors, and the House is Democratic, so that's not going to happen. And now you've got the leader of the Senate saying it's not going to happen there either. So there's no legal way to overturn the election at this point. And so I think it just makes these continuing efforts, sort of look more and more pointless. Now, I do think that there's still a lot of Republicans who are fearful of a Trump tweet and don't want to cross him. And that includes people like David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, the two senators on the ballot in Georgia on January 5th. And they have so far been going along with Trump's efforts to overturn the election. It'll be interesting. I think they're in perhaps the tightest spot, because if they both lose, the Democrats would control the Senate next year with Kamala Harris casting the tie-breaking vote.
Yeah, and that certainly remains to be seen. Early January, that election happening. Early voting already underway in Georgia. Senate reporter Stephen Dennis in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Thanks for your time, Stephen. It's good to have you on the show this morning.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.